Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to move the bill, the County Government's Amendment Bill 2023. Mr. Speaker, by saying this is a very straightforward amendment, and thank you for giving me opportunity to move. I've been waiting long, but I understand the order of the business keep changing, Mr. Speaker. And this is just a way of improving and enhancing and widening and deepening the evolution, Mr. Speaker. And that is why members of public who watch us, when we make laws, Mr. Speaker, they should understand that we can make and amend at the same time. We can review because we are the lawmakers. The Constitution, Mr. Speaker, envisages us as the Senate and Parliament of the Republic of Kenya, as per Article 93, Mr. Speaker, that we have power to amend. Mr. Speaker, and therefore, the reason we have power of lawmaking is because we exercise the power on behalf of the people of the Republic of Kenya. Each of us, 47 delegations, includes our nominated. We exercise that authority. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we are the apex of democracy and exercising the free will of the people, Mr. Speaker. So yesterday I had somebody within Parliament trying to issue gagging orders for some of us not to speak about the welfare or concerns that we have, Mr. Speaker. I want to put it without fear of contradiction. There were many people who tried to intimidate us in our previous life, Mr. Speaker. Some of us, Mr. Speaker, were arrested, persecuted, prosecuted. But I want to inform them the price of intimidation and blackmail is zero, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, there is no gagging orders, Mr. Speaker. If there is something wrong, if there is no water in the chamber, we have a right because to ask questions about it, Mr. Speaker. You cannot or threaten any member of Parliament with being taken to powers and privileges, Mr. Speaker, for asking what rightfully belongs to them, Mr. Speaker. So I want to call upon, because all of us are brothers and sisters in this house, that if there are gagging orders from you or any other individual from the lower house, Mr. Speaker, then they should inform us in advance. We don't want, Mr. Speaker, to operate with the principle of monkey. Hear nothing, see nothing, and say nothing. Then why are we elected through a democratic process, Mr. Speaker? That is why I must insist, Mr. Speaker, let us always have a conversation on many issues surrounding the running of this Parliament, Mr. Speaker, at any given time.
Senator Fernandi, are you making a statement pursuant to Standing Order 52, or you're moving your bill, your amendments bill?
Mr. Speaker, I am building the basis of moving my amendment bill, Mr. Speaker.
There is no relationship.
It is there.
Just go ahead and move your bill, please.
Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, we shall keep asking the questions about the Bunge Towers as long as something is wrong. Mr. Speaker, in the second limb that I wanted to say, and Mr. Speaker, on that note, why are the guilty afraid? Let the people who should carry the cross when they need be. But
what is your point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Mr. Speaker, is the Senator Fernandi in order to impute ill motives on members of this House? And I would want him to clarify who are these guilty that are afraid when this discussion on members' welfare is being alleged. Mr. Speaker, I hope he's not referring to the chair, which would be something terrible to do. So please, can you clarify on who are these people who are afraid of discussions regarding the welfare of members?
Senator Fernandi, can we proceed to lay bare the names of those who are guilty?
Mr. Speaker.
In the event that you cannot, you may proceed to withdraw that particular statement.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't look for a time in my life here in the floor that Senator Sifuna would be defending you. But that one being said and done, Mr. Speaker, I didn't mean...
one of those who are feeling guilty?
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it is just a euphemism, is it? A saying, Mr. Speaker, by saying there are people who are, they're afraid are always, the guilty are always afraid. I didn't mention any name, even the answer can bear. But if it is misunderstood, I withdraw that statement, Mr. Speaker, and replace that people. Why, Mr. Speaker, why is Senator Sifuna smiling today? Mr. Speaker, and you know you have been told Uhuru Park cannot be used for political rallies. I hope he's aware. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I am replacing by saying everyone within file and rank of running of parliament, including us, even at the level of committee, should be ready to answer questions. That's what I meant, Mr. Speaker. And we are asking these questions for welfare of ourselves, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in moving this bill, I want to say our business, Mr. Speaker, our business is just to do the lawmaking. Mr. Speaker, let us do the lawmaking. Let us ensure that we give opportunity to members of parliament to do their job. In this amendment, we continue under the County Government's Amendment Bill 2023, Mr. Speaker. I know Senator of Kiambu had an impeachment procedure bill. But even as we wait, Mr. Speaker, for that bill to come, when you look at this amendment, basically, Mr. Speaker, is to increase the threshold for removal of a member of County Executive Committee. Mr. Speaker, I know you, being the Governor Emeritus of Kilifi County, Senator Mandaguf being of Androba, being governors, Mr. Speaker, you understand what it means to have stability and prediction in terms of your committee executive members. And we are just, Mr. Speaker, for understanding of members, we are just rationalizing with the national legislation, Mr. Speaker. Because when you say a third, if you have maybe 80 members, it means 10 of them can just sign and remove that member, CCM, Mr. Speaker. So we are trying to look and rationalize with the National Assembly, not with the national legislation. Because there is a threshold before you impeach or vote of no confidence against a cabinet secretary. So what we are doing, Mr. Speaker, is just to rationalize both so that it becomes easy, Mr. Speaker, especially so that we bring stability. By the way, Mr. Speaker, in as much as we do oversight against or for county governments and other independent institutions, Mr. Speaker, our goal is not to stifle the flourishing and expansion, Mr. Speaker, of some of the growth of devolution, Mr. Speaker. We want stability, we want predictability, so that when we do oversight, Mr. Speaker, we can therefore do oversight. And this one does not mean that the MCS will always have power to summon CCM to appear before them. Even chief officers, Mr. Speaker. Even director of various departments within the county government structure, Mr. Speaker. So what we are just doing is putting a game that has rules, Mr. Speaker. We are putting a stopgap so that it is not open to abuse, Mr. Speaker. You can imagine if it was a third to give a vote of no confidence against a cabinet secretary, Mr. Speaker, against 365 members of National Assembly. So if you are to do 365 and you choose is it 365? I think it's 365. You have to do a third of 365. How many CSs have gone home? And therefore, we want just to realize, I don't know, are there CSs who are supposed to go home? I don't know. But I'm just saying, Mr. Speaker, it will be an abuse. And when you look at the amendment of Section 40, Mr. Speaker, is in essence trying in removal of a member of executive, county government's number 17 of 2012. It talks about removal of member of a county executive. Of course, the grounds has been laid, Mr. Speaker. Then Section 42 says a member of county assembly supported by at least 1/3 of all members of county assembly may propose a motion requiring the governor to dismiss as county executive member, committee member on any of the grounds set up in subsection 1. Mr. Speaker, and therefore, if a motion subsection 2 is supported by at least 1/3 of the members of the county assembly shall appoint a select committee, of course, in the process, 5 members to investigate the matter, Mr. Speaker. So looking at the threshold, we need to rationalize so that, Mr. Speaker, all these are political process. The removal of a CCM, the vote of no confidence, impeachment,